Hey, welcome back, Big Buddha Podcast, episode number 3. And it's a pleasure to be here. My name is Buddha. Thank you for joining me. If this is your first time, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share. If you hate it, make sure you tell me that you hate it. I want to know why you hate it. If you love it, same shit. Make sure you guys are, putting it in the comment section. Makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside when I know other people are not only listening, but enjoying what I'm dropping. You know what I'm saying? I have insecurity issues sometimes, so it makes my head normally where if somebody were of normal confidence, it would make them get a big head, but as of yet I've been deflated in a sense, and so really I'm just trying to get up to actual playing size inflatability. You know what I'm saying? I'm on some Tom Brady shit right now, and I really just need to inflate to maximum capacity where I need to be. So make sure you leave it in the comment section whether you love it or hate it. I do have some controversial topics, I'll say that. So before you share with your friends, obviously they gotta be comfortable with cannabis. And I do cover a conspiracy section of the show. I do want to reinforce anything I say on the show is a lot of opinions. You know what I'm saying? But how I base my opinions is gathering things that I've learned, and I interpret that information, and then it gets cut with all my fucked up shit in my head, and then I regurgitate it to you on the microphone. And so while it is a lot of factuals, and I'm coming with some factuals, a lot of it is opinion, so keep that in mind. And I just, I don't know, I don't want to get down the road and get sued by fucking Ghislaine Maxwell because I told everyone she was a deep sea submarine pilot or something, But it's been a hell of a week though for cancel culture. I just did an episode on Wednesday, and since then, it's been going crazy. Also, there's some other shit I didn't talk about, so I don't really have a whole lot today. We're just gonna, have some fun. I'm gonna just stream my consciousness to you, and hope that, we have a good time together here on the Big Buddha Podcast. I don't know, man. It's been tough for me to get high lately. I've been smoking, and I don't know, man. I might go back to doing dabs a little bit. I kind of went through a period of time. It was actually almost a whole year. It was 8 months, right, where I did nothing but smoke dabs. I didn't smoke flower. It's not that I wouldn't smoke flower, but it just didn't do anything for me after I've been doing dabs for fucking 8 months, and I was going to college at EI for audio engineering and shit, and I would just get blasted, dude. I used to fucking there's a parking garage, and I used to bring my little nectar collector straw, and I would have my torch, obviously, and I'd bring all my whole kit to school. This before it was legal in Illinois or Missouri. But there was this dope ass spot in this parking garage where nobody ever fucked with me, and I just used to sit there and I light up and fucking, and I know it makes me sound like a meth head or a crackhead or something. I'm just hiding in a parking garage with a torch. But yeah, I'd do 10 dabs and then fucking go to class, and I'd be so blasted. And so it would be crazy to me when I would make the fucking dean's list or the director's list. I had a 4.0 and shit at certain points. And it was just I'm retaining this information while high as humanly possible. And I quit doing dabs because, one, it was getting ridiculous. I was getting two-faced, and then I would face life, and then my friend would pass me a blunt, and he'd be like, man, that's some fire shit. And I'd sit there and I'd start hitting it. And the thing is, it's kind of like a cigarette or something. If you do dabs all day and somebody passes you a blunt, it's kind of And that's kind of how I felt, So I took a back seat to it, I was kind of all right, I'm back up a little bit, and I quit doing as many dabs, and now eventually, now I don't even buy dabs anymore. But if somebody gives me a dab, I'll take a dab. I'm not a snob, I'm not bougie, if you will. I'm just, I enjoy dabs. They get me high as dog shit, but sometimes it's a good thing. Right now, I could probably use it. I don't know what it is, man. I've been smoking as much as I can, and, still fucking can't get high for some reason the last few days. Maybe it's just the world that we live in around me. Also, I hear, my friends that are all older than me, they're dude, there's gonna come a day, man, where you're gonna, smoke, and it's gonna make you more paranoid than it does high, and that, you're not gonna enjoy it, and I never thought I would see that day. And there's plenty of older people that still smoke, so I'm hoping I'm gonna be like one of those, like, like I don't want to live till I'm 80. To be honest, I don't even want to live till I'm 70. To be honest, so like I'm hopefully like in my early 60s, like still like hitting a bong and shit. That's what I aspire for when I grow up. It's crazy. I'm almost 30, and I still feel like a kid on the inside, and I don't know. Like it's a good thing, I guess, but then like it's also a bad thing. A bad thing in society's eyes. It's a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't expect anyone to raise me. I'm just in this thing on my own. I'm fucking a couple bad dates away from being the cat man. I would say cat lady, but I'm like the male counterpoint to that. I don't even know. I don't even like cats that much. It might be dogs. I think I'll just do dogs. Dogs like love you back. You know what I mean? Cats are kind of like they love you like when they want to be loved, which is kind of like women a little bit. So like I just like dogs. Always happy to see you. Always, no matter what. Like you had a shitty day. You fucking forgot to bring him a bone or whatever, and still happy, still loves you. That's the dog. That's what I need. Instant gratification, warm fuzzy feelings every time I hit the door. Dogs, but I don't know how I get sidetracked off that, but when I smoke weed, it definitely like settles my world, and so some dabs right now could be nice because I just do like one dab, and then I'm just like Charlie Sheen Stone for like I know that's a bad example. Willie Nelson Stone, how about that? Snoop Dogg, all those like they're probably smoking that shit. Like Snoop Dogg, he's an old school stoner though. So is Willie. Like I doubt they're getting down on some dabs, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like I doubt that they're smoking dabs. I bet they like. Actually, I know Snoop Dogg. He was talking about one time in an interview when he smoked moon rocks, and he's like, I don't fuck with that shit, cause like. But what's crazy is like I would love to smoke moon rocks. I feel like I've never had actual moon rocks. Motherfuckers here in the Midwest just like buy some fucking mid grades and they dip it in like their fucking shitty wax, and then they roll it in keef and they're like, or like actually shake. They'll break down shake to powder sometimes and like call it keef and they roll it up and they're like moon rocks, bro. Fucking $20 a nug, dude. But I mean, if it's actual moon rocks, which I'm sure, shit, Willie Nelson, Snoop Dogg, even Charlie Sheen, I'm sure he's smoking like premium crack, but they're smoking the best weed. They have, Snoop Dogg's got his own fucking strain. So does Willie, and so they gotta be smoking the best, and so I can't imagine what his moon rocks were like. I bet that sure as hell sent him to space, dude. Space cakes, all that shit. Like I talked about last episode, though, you gotta be careful if you're in the Midwest because they got fake edibles now. I've seen that with, it's like just like the fake exotic packs. People just buy the bags and it looks legit, and so then they can make whatever the fuck at home and put it in that bag and then seal it with like the glue strip, and then you're like, oh, it's sealed, bro. It's like, and it says it comes from California and blah blah blah. Yeah, that bag came from California. That's your homie's bathtub brew, fucking whatever treats or whatever he made, and they might be fire. I've had some dank ass treats from the Midwest, but you gotta know somebody that knows how to fuck to make it, the right way. I don't know. I've just kind of fell into this whole like I know if I start doing dabs again, it's gonna like all I'm gonna do, and I don't want that, to be honest. Like I have shit to do. I'm trying to be more productive than I am currently. So yeah, dabs maybe gonna happen, maybe not. I think I just need them for like emergency situations, like right now. How I'm just like, fuck everything. That's how I feel. And so, like, yeah, I'm going to smoke those dabs in a moment of crisis. I think I'm going to go see my buddy today. He's always got the dabs, but it's been a hell of a week for cancel culture. I've noticed that quite a few things got canceled. And today, I'm going to add August Alsina and fucking Rick Ross to that list because y'all don't just make an R&B diss track on my guy Will, okay? You got the nerve to call it entanglements. Now, at first I was like, I thought he was like a borderline victim. Like I felt bad for August. Like he comes on his little like coming out thing with Angela Yee, and he was like, yeah, I was abused, and I came from a broken home, and I was like, damn man, that's real. And then he was like, yeah, she was like a mother figure to me, and like. Even she said that on her little red table thing. Even her and Will, they were like, oh yeah, when August came, he was like sick, and it was like a familial thing. He was trying to like build a family around him, and they were trying to help him because they said he was quote unquote sick. Yeah, he had that sick dick. Fucking Jada done put it on him and cast a spell. That's what I thought. You know what I mean? I was like, damn. He's looking at her as a mother figure, and then she puts the pussy on him, and now he can't fucking. That's all he thinks about. It's like a fucking a tractor beam for his mind every time he's around her. That's all he think. And now he feels bad when he's watching Wild Wild West and shit. He's like. He's crying watching Pursuit of Happiness. Like, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. But no, it's not like that at all. He writes a song about it, definitely capitalizing off of the whole thing. And here's the thing. I don't know if Will cheated on Jada or not. Maybe her ruthlessness is justified. She seemed to think it was anyway. Like, at no point in that Red Table talk did she like actually apologize for anything. She had like clever ways of like justifying her actions, and then like had like some slick like comments about like like I'm not gonna say I cheated, but I was entangled, and so I think it's fucking it's borderline hilarious, but also like I'm like, don't do my guy Will like that, bro. Not her, but like August and Rick. You know what I'm saying? How y'all gonna write a diss track called Entangled? I mean, I know why Rick Ross got on it, because obviously it's gonna be a big track, bigger than anything he's had in a while. So just because of the controversy surrounding the song, so it's an obvious choice. Like, hell yeah, I'll get on that with you, bro. I don't blame Rick Ross at all, for real, kind of. But I mean, he's on the song. But it's just like, bro, don't do my guy Will like that, man. Like, August, like, bro, you done fucked his wife. You came through. You say you didn't want to be a home wrecker, but then you kind of was. And, he was like trying, like, for whatever reason, he was trying to get back in good graces. And she, like, we totally ignored that. It was actually sounded like she was trying to get back in his good graces because he said, I was done with your ass. And that would tell me that she had done other shit, which makes me wonder, like, yeah, did Will do other shit? Here's the thing, my opinion, Will has never been proven to have cheated. Like, there's been speculation. There was like Margot Robbie, which, I mean, come on, dog. Like if you can flirt with Margot Robbie successfully and she's not gonna fucking like look at you like you're Epstein or something, like, yeah, bro, like if she ain't gonna like be creeped out by you and she's gonna flirt back, like, I'm gonna flirt with Margot Robbie, dude. But that doesn't mean he put the dick on her. That don't mean he laid the hammer of Hancock down on her. You know what I mean? Like, it just means that she basically was, attracted enough to flirt with him in public a little bit. They could have just been friends. I don't know the exact, like, nature of their relationship, but it was short-lived either way, because I haven't seen them, like, in public, like, it would be all over tabloids if they was, like, kicking it, having lunch and shit. Like, there was a couple instances where they were, like, together somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got friends, you know what I'm saying? I hug my friends and shit, too, so, and like, does that mean I'm in a relationship with my homie because I just hugged him or her, one or the other? Like, if we're out in public, like, all of a sudden, what it is, I think if you're a celebrity, dude, it's just like that microscope's on you, so people are going to speculate, people are going to, talk shit. Like, those speculations might have raised questions, and then she just acted on impulse or something. And I don't know, man. Jada seemed cold though, bro. Like, I was watching that hoping to like feel good. when I got done watching that Red Table Talk, I was hoping to feel better about the situation, just because, like, we get invested in America. Yeah, well, I mean, all over the world, I bet. But like, with our celebrities here in America, we get invested. And when you got someone like Will, who's like well liked across the board, like, people of all races like Will Smith. You know what I'm saying? He's a great actor, and he's, he was the Fresh Prince, and, like, people love Will Smith, dude. And when you go do something like that, in public, there's going to be a little backlash. But like, I honestly don't feel like people are treating Jada unfairly. Like, yeah, it's none of our business, to be honest. But at the same time, like, that's the way it is in America. You guys are celebrities. Both of you are celebrities. And so you guys are a power couple, and people go to you for relationship advice, and both of you post shit on your Instagram that's deep, and you got your little Red Table Talk where you give people advice on their lives. So of course people are going to be interested in what you got going on. I'm not going to take advice from someone that, like, don't even have it together themselves. Or maybe I'll empathize. I'll see that you empathize with me. You have normal people problems too, and now I'm more interested in your little Red Table Talk. But I mean, there's no guarantee of that. And I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of things we don't understand. Obviously, there's shit that's going on behind closed door. They might just have like a political partnership at this point, or like a public partnership or a parental partnership, at this point. But I mean, which is fine, if they're raising their kids or whatever, that's cool. But damn, bro, like all I'm saying is like her little son Jaden. I can't call him little. He's a grown man, but her son Jaden has a friend, brings him over, and then like your family embraces this young man, and then your mom fucks him like several times, like has an entanglement. How long did that entanglement last? We don't really know, but if all I'm saying is we flipped the roles and Willow Smith brought home one of her little friends, and Will was like, damn, if Will hit his daughter's friend, the world would be crucifying Will Smith right now. He would be canceled on cancel culture. You know what I'm saying? So there's a double standard for you if you want to talk about double standards. I think that Will Smith would be fucking drugged through the news, crucified, if he would have fucked his daughter's friend. But because and this is honestly how society views men. So it's like, if like we don't feel bad for August in the slightest. None of us, even guys, like mostly guys, don't feel bad for August. Like we hear like, oh, she manipulated his feelings for her, and she fucked him because she was mad at Will, or because she was feeling sexual urges or whatever. We look at that and we're like, oh, you're gonna be okay. Like nobody feels bad because August fucked Jada. But like if it were the other way around, we would be looking at the young woman as a victim. So when he's almost in tears in his little interview, I bought that shit for real, which came out before the Red Talk. But even after that, like I went back and watched it again, and I bought his feelings because I was like, damn, I could see that, But now it's all unvalidated now, bro. Now you fucked up. Before August, you fucked up August, because you came out with a little diss track trying to capitalize or profit off of the situation, which I mean, I guess that's what you should do to get back in the limelight, because you haven't dropped a fucking legit R&B album in fucking years, so I like I said, I totally see why Rick Ross did it, just because, it's a fucking publicity stunt, and he's like, hell yeah, I'm gonna jump on that. I don't blame him, but fuck y'all for coming at my boy Will's neck. He don't deserve that. I mean, he might. I don't know. Like I said, he might deserve it. He might be the hugest cheater in history, but the way she talked about Tupac, Jada like talked about Tupac, and Will describe it, that was like one of the hardest things he had to get over in his marriage, was because she just continuously would say like, I will never feel for another man the way I felt for Tupac, which is fine. Like you can say like, all right, cool, he was one of a kind and shit like that, but like, to make your current spouse feel, degraded, you know what I mean? Even to the point where like your kids never knew Tupac, but like they're posting like, can't wait to meet you one day, Tupac, blah, 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 see you in heaven type shit, like on their Instagram and shit. Like, I can't imagine how that makes Will feel as a father, and as a husband, Like, even if it was just that, like I could, like, there's obvious conflict there. Like, he said that was the hardest thing he ever had to get over in his marriage until this shit. And this is so recent. Like, I just feel like this is what Will has to do to keep his wife, y'all. I don't know. I'm spending way too much time on this, but shit got me riled up, man. I've been watching Will Smith do shit since I was a little kid, and I don't know, man. Like, maybe Jada should spend more time screaming in her metal band and less time fucking her son's friends. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Like I said, maybe Will's a piece of shit and we just don't see it. I mean, I guess it's possible. It is possible. But, speaking of cancel culture, we're going to go ahead and cancel Tory Lanez. I don't know what the fuck is up with Tory Lanez, man. He, last Sunday, a week ago from today, he basically, I don't know what happened. He was in a car with Megan Thee Stallion, and her security guard wasn't there. And I don't know if what he saw was opportunistic, or if he's just like a fucking womanizer and an abuser. I don't know what, but they had an altercation where she was basically trying to get out of his SUV and he pulled a gun and ended up shooting Megan Thee Stallion in the foot. And so the police are called. They come. They take Megan to the hospital. The police did. And then they arrest Tory Lanez on Thursday. Pick him up on gun charges. And find the gun that he shot her with and whatever. But I'm just curious, man. Like, what was the altercation? Like, what would cause Tory Lanez to brandish a weapon and then and end up firing it? Not only that, like she came out and made statements that said like the shot was intended to hurt her, and like that wasn't like an accident. Like, cause some people said he was like trying to defend her or whatever, and she very clearly made sure that was known that no, like that shot was meant to hurt me, and I just wish she would come out with the whole story. I'm kind of, I know like it's a little fucking like pop culture to worry about, but like I'm just kind of like interested in what would cause, because they're both superstar. Well, I would say she's a superstar. He's kind of like, he's like a B-list R&B singer. That's like, like dude, you got bodied by fucking Joyner Lucas. Lil Windex bodied you. Fucking Lil Windex bodied you, my guy. And the culture is giving you numerous chances. Like, you sing better than you rap, and then like you come out with some trash ass verses, and he raps fast, and so people just think that like equals talent, which not ever. Like I'll say like rapping fast does take talent, but not all the time is it talented when you rap fast. Like I don't know, but. What would cause him to shoot her? I don't know if it was like I said, I don't know if he was like trying to get with her and she said nah, and he just got frustrated, or, if they had like some type of fight, or whatever. I don't know. I guess we'll see in coming months. But yeah, man, Tory Lanez shot Meg Thee Stallion. I'm gonna cancel both of them because I don't like her music either. I don't know. She might have been, clawing his eyes out or something. I don't know. I mean, it's not just reason to shoot her, but. It sounded like she was trying to get away from this situation, and then he fucking shot her. So she really didn't do anything wrong. I just don't like her music. And yeah, I thought it was funny that there was like this woman that came out and said, we need to cancel hip hop because men degrading women in hip hop has created a culture of women that like either strive for like impossible standards, or like they're like into all this ratchet hoe shit, and like that it's like become this, this thing that like where like hip hop music has trained these young women to act like thoughts and shit because that's all that they've listened to their whole lives. And while I think there is some validity in that statement, like you just, the one thing I didn't like about it was that you only put it on the men in hip hop when there's been women in hip hop for a long time, since before Lil' Kim, and Lil' Kim was like one of the nastiest. Lyrically and on stage, and she wore all the little outfits, and like that shit just continued, not just in hip hop music, but pop and R&B music as well. Because sex sells, and that's just what it comes down to. Sex sells, and like basically, my question is, what when it comes to hip hop music, like what have like the Meg Thee Stallions and the Cardi B's and the Nicki Minaj's and the Doja Cats, like what have they done? And the City Girls, what have they done for the image of women in hip hop? That's my only question about it is like, obviously two wrongs don't make a right. Like, yes, men have objectified women in hip hop music for a long time, but it's not just hip hop music. You listen to old metal records from the 80s about fucking bitches and doing cocaine. So, to say that that's like exclusively a hip hop thing, like, yes, men have been, degrading and objectifying women in lyrics for years. But then y'all listen to it. Like, y'all jamming shit. It's like a number one hit. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times, like, like nobody was coming for Juvenile's throat. You know what I'm saying? But everybody loves Back That Ass Up when you're in the club. Everybody loves that song. But, I would say, like, okay, there's some statements in there that maybe objectify women, And so I think that was like the young woman's point whenever she was making it, was like, yeah, there's tons, but like it's not only appropriated by men in the culture. When you got women that like these young girls look up to and they see, and that like, Cardi B's how many girls' favorite rapper, and they all try to act just like her. And so that's all I'm saying. Like a woman can influence young women in a way that men never could. Because those young women ain't gonna look up to a man, but they'll look up to a woman that's doing, like Cardi B is every stripper's shit because they see like her, she made it to the top of the mountain. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't gotta dance no more. I got red bottoms, and that becomes like this like attitude that's in their mind, and then like which is maybe a good thing. Like maybe they'll aspire to do whatever is in their heart to better themselves and get them out the club or whatever. But like at the same time, she like embraces that shit. And so you can't. All I'm saying is you can't have your cake and eat it too. With the whole, I don't know. Meg Thee Stallion's definitely wrapped up in that, in my opinion, just because it's all. While I enjoy it as a man, it's all twerking and ass and fucking tight outfits and like, cause sex sells, dude. And these companies know what the fuck they're doing. These record corporations, they know what they're doing. They look for the hottest, youngest women and men to go out there and sell sex before the music. And it is to corrupt these young kids. Absolutely. It's been going on so long that we forgot about it, Like, when I was raised, I was born in 1990, when I was raised, like, there, we had grunge music and all that, but hip-hop was still prominent, in those times it just wasn't popular. We had MTV, so, like, where you occasionally, and BET and stuff like that, we occasionally get to go see what the hip-hop channels are doing, but it's not like it is now. Hip-hop's on the forefront of everything now, and Kanye West said it best, like, they are the new rock stars, and it's true. Like there's not many rock bands that are bigger than Kanye West or bigger than Jay-Z or bigger than, any of the pillars of the hip-hop community. Even these new kids, they're drawing huge crowds and they're influencing many, many, many young men and women, age 8 to 18, a lot of these younger artists, they're reaching kids like my nephew's age, and they're like 8 years old and they know all these songs. And, I don't know, man, like I'm torn on it. Like we can't censor shit because they're going to see it anyway. My dad was a preacher and he did his best to like raise me right and keep me from certain things. But, to be honest, like I still was, the world had shown me things and I had friends whose parents didn't care. And of course I seen, porn for the first time when I was like 12 and all that shit. Like I was corrupted. I listened to the Marshall Mathers LP. I remember talking to my mom at a yard sale and I got her to buy me 2 CDs and it was the Marshall Mathers LP and Juvenile, I think 3 or 400 Degrees. I can't remember what it's called, but it was that one, his one with all the bangers on it. And, I had her buy me that. Normally, they would never buy me that. Like, if I was at a store, if I asked my dad for the Marshall Mathers LP, yeah, right. And so I had her buy it. She didn't know what she was buying me. And, I remember coming home and I used to jam the shit out of that. Like, it was like forbidden fruit. It was like the first time, like, you did something you weren't supposed to do and you just love it. And that's what listening to Eminem felt like for the first time for me. Because I was like, listening to like Kirk Franklin and fucking, like DC Talk and shit with my dad. My dad was always a rocker though too. He always had like Kiss and Cheap Trick and like all, old rock, classic rock bands too. So I was definitely like, my mom listened to all country. So she was all Garth Brooks and Alan Jackson and shit like that. So I was definitely well-rounded, except for hip-hop, and so like I had three CDs that I just remember like, going head first into. That was the Marshall Mathers LP, that Juvenile CD, and I had Hybrid Theory by Linkin Park, and that kind of like fused my worlds. That made it okay. Like for me to listen to hip hop was like Linkin Park. I remember like learning every single word, and like me and my friend used to like love them. We used to call them like the great ones and shit because like, dude, we thought there wasn't a better band. And Linkin Park, dude, I mean they killed it, dude. I'm sad Chester's dead, and I'm sad like the band really, like I don't know. Like I heard they're gonna move on, but I hope they don't. Kind of like if you're gonna do it, like start another band. like Fort Minor Jr. or something. I don't care, but don't fucking resurrect Lincoln Park without Chester. That's just the way I feel. But yeah. Anyway, I was into that shit. I remember coming home on Sunday and I was like jamming Eminem, and so like after the first like intro track of the Eminem CD where he was like, "You have just sucked his dick." After that whole thing, the first song is "Kill You" by Eminem. But I'm gonna kill you. You don't want to fuck with me, and it's just like one of the most lyrically graphic songs on the whole CD. Like we couldn't, if anybody released that album, but like specifically that song in 2020, this person would be crucified as well. Like they would burn him at the stake, because he was just saying shit for shock value. It's not necessarily that like he's angry or homophobic or any of these things. He's just saying shit to get a rise out of you, and that's why I liked it. That's why it felt like forbidden to me as a 9-year-old, because I was like, holy shit, like I was eating it up. And I remember I was coming home from church. My dad was listening to his radio, so I didn't care. I had like my portable anti-skip CD player on with like my very basic fucking like Walmart headphones, and he turned down his radio to hear what I was listening to, and I was listening to that. And he like jerks my player out of my hand, and then he took my CDs, my 2 rap CDs. He took them from me and he hid them in his little dresser. He had like this like dresser where like these doors opened, and he had some like bags in there, and he like hid them in there. And so then like I would fake sick on Sundays sometimes to like stay home, and I would listen to my rap CDs when he wasn't home. Yeah, fun little tale there. But I just I don't know. I don't think that like men have done anything in hip hop more to degrade women than the women in hip hop have. We don't have too many like shining examples of women in hip hop that I'm like, oh yeah, I mean there are some, don't get me wrong, there's definitely some women in hip hop that like don't use the sex thing, or like not that they're not sexy, but they don't feel like they have to use it because like they legit have skills. And that like there definitely are some out there, but like they're not the ones that are like on the radio. You get the city girls, and and that is what it is, dude. I mean, that's what society has made popular. So, I don't know if Megan Thee Stallion. I hope she's okay though. I hope her foot heals, and I hope Tory Lanez gets his weapon charge out the way so we can hear some more trash bars from him. And cancel culture. Like I said, it was a crazy week for cancel culture. Goya, which is like a food company, and they released a lot of like Mexican food products for grocery stores. So it's like cans of beans and like taco shells and shit like that. And conveniently, like it's kind of funny. Well, it's ironic actually, but like their boss, their CEO of the corporation, is a Mexican American, and he had expressed support for Donald Trump, which firstly is not a crime, ladies and gentlemen. Like, I'm not a Trump fan. I admittedly do not like Donald Trump. Something about him boils my blood. And, there's a whole other list of things that I think about him, but like what I know about him, I don't like. And, but all I can say is like, if you do like Donald Trump, it's not a crime. Okay. He just cause he's a Mexican American, doesn't mean he can't. He's a CEO also. Everything here's why I don't find that surprising at all for a Mexican American to support Donald Trump in the slightest, especially him, specifically him. He's the CEO of a corporation. That is who Donald Trump is in the presidency to benefit. He's one of them. Those are people in his tax bracket. Those are his friends. You know what I'm saying? And his policies, even whether he knows the guy from Goya or not, his policies benefit that man because he is also a corporate CEO. You know what I'm saying? And since Donald's been in, they've had huge tax cuts, and they got like we thought our stimulus check was dank. You should see their stimulus checks that they got. It was like $1.8 million. And so, Trump's definitely been doing his thing for corporate America. Not surprising that a CEO of a corporation supports Donald Trump. But the people of America, I wouldn't say all of them, obviously. Like, I'm actually surprised how many Trumpers there are in the world. Like, I like when he got elected, I was like, there's no way there's that many people supporting Donald Trump. And like, while I thought it would like die down, like it's actually gotten like it's like he throws gas on the flames every time he like does like an antic or like makes a crazy statement, like, and it just like further separate, like it makes this like more defined line in the sand, just like creating more division in the country. And I'm not talking white and black or anything like that. I'm talking about like people that are for Donald Trump and like eat up all the shit that he says, and then like the other people that like just don't like him or like, whatever. And I think there's a gray area there too. Obviously there's people that like maybe don't like Donald Trump, but like maybe some of the things he's done, they've been like, man, it's not so bad. Or like vice versa. Like maybe they don't like the things he's done, but like, hey, I really like this guy. Don't understand why you would, but it happens, And so I think Goya, they had like, here's the thing though. Why do you have to make that a public statement? I mean, not that you shouldn't, like, if you feel how you feel, cool, but like, why? Like, why would you like hang your business out to dry? Especially a company that sells Mexican food products, And what I thought was like the cringiest part about all of it was there's backlash. People are hating on Goya and like boycotting Goya. We're not gonna buy your food products anymore and all this good stuff. And like there was a lot of backlash. And Ivanka Trump takes the most cringy photo with a can of black beans. And she's sitting there just like smiling next to this food product that she's never eaten in her entire life. And, and it's fucking hilarious that it's like, oh, well, we support Goya and, he's a Mexican American, so we obviously support Mexican Americans, even though we've implemented policies and like we have your children in fucking cages and ICE centers. But yeah, let me hold up this can of black beans and show you how supportive I am of Mexican Americans. Fuck you. It's just funny, man. I don't know. Like, I had a good laugh about that, but like, she was the icing on the cake for me. It was that cringy ass photo of her holding. And don't get me wrong, like, I would probably hit Ivanka. Like, she's fucking kind of cute. I don't know why, but she's kind of cute. Like, it would be like an anger bang for me. Like, but she's, I don't know. She's definitely, like, I've heard her talk too, and it's just like, all right, like, you're better than your dad, just barely. Like, you're just a tinge better than your dad, But you keep taking photos next to black beans for, political rise or public, for public eye, just to drum up controversy. And I'm, I couldn't, I don't know. Not that I'm saying I would. I don't want to just say sex there. I was just talking about objectifying women, and now I'm like, yeah, I would fucking hit it, bro. But at the same time, I would take Ivanka on a nice date, and I would ask her about her troubles, and I would get to know her very well. And then if she didn't discuss me before the date was over, and she would allow me the pleasure, I would definitely partake. Just saying. But she's definitely cringy for that photo though, and so I think she was kind of canceled, along with the guy from Goya, however you say it. It's pretty funny. And man, like I said, cancel culture's been going crazy, dude. And we had a hell of a week, dude. We had a hell of a week. Fucking Nick Cannon. I almost forgot. I didn't want to not mention Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon has a podcast, and he was on his podcast, and I think it was Professor Griff from Public Enemy. And so, like, in the late 80s, early 90s, Professor Griff was, like, removed as a member of Public Enemy over some anti-Semitic comments that he had made. And for whatever reason, I mean, obviously, dude's like a hip-hop legend, so I'm not confused as to why Nick was interviewing him. I'm confused as to why that was the basis of your conversation. It would seem that, like, Nick only invited him on there to talk about the anti-Semitism surrounding, like the controversy, like, how he feels. Like, because Nick thought that, like, his comments were validated, that he had made back in the day. And he wanted to discuss that further. And I really don't have any problem with discussion, but there comes a line where it's like, yeah, it's dangerous. Like, I don't think, like, what Nick said was dangerous. I think, like the basis of, like, what he's using as, like, a thought process is dangerous. Like, he was just regurgitating information that he had read in a book called ISIS Papers. And while it's like a pro-black thing, but it's also like a lot of like crazy like pseudoscience and like opinions that like aren't facts, and it's also like some really like off the wall type shit that the ISIS papers say. And he was also like quoting Farrakhan, who also has like been, while he said many great things, he's also said many anti-Semitic things. And so like they were just kind of like, this whole podcast like seemed like really embraced anti-Semitism. I think he should have like leaned on like not Jewish people, but leaned on like white people. Like if you would have came out and said like, okay, white people been treating us like savage, like look at all the savagery that white people have perpetrated over history. And, I would say more than any other race, white people have committed more violent acts and violent crimes against other people in humanity than any other race. I would absolutely agree to that. I don't think anybody's going to cancel Nick Cannon for saying that, and then they call us savages. White people are the true savages, and by definition, and yet they talk about black people like black people are savages. And so like if Nick Cannon just would have came out and said that, I think he would have not only done what he wanted to do, and that was get support from the black community, but there also would have been like a lot of white people like me that wouldn't have disagreed with that. I don't think that was the issue. I think Nick Cannon, he read these ISIS papers, and while I'm the first one to tell you, dude, like I don't like the Rothschilds, I don't like the Rockefellers, I don't like any people that are so wealthy that they have that much power and control worldwide, but like, I'm not going to blame their heritage for it. You're going to say that the Rothschilds, like that they're Jewish and that's why they have all this global elite power, and that like, they're not like real, like, I don't know exactly the basis of what he was saying, but he was saying like black people were like the original Semites, which is fine. Like it's just basically like anybody that like speaks an ancient language, I think, like that's what Semitism is, like, but like when like Hebrew and like, all that shit, like people from like Lebanon, but like to say, like, obviously it's you're from Africa, and so like, yeah, like there's while there is an obvious chain there, and I see what you're saying. It's just, you said it in the wrong way. Also, like, you just can't regurgitate information that you got from a crazy publication, called the ISIS papers. I don't see where Nick was going with that. And, I mean, it got caused like instant backlash. MTV didn't fire him. That's a misconception. It was Viacom who fired him. And, you can bet your sweet ass Viacom's ran by Jewish people. But that I'm sure it has nothing to do with it. They're just trying to, protect their necks and, but then, like, I thought it was funny. I read that as soon as Viacom, like, puts out this thing and they fire him and they make a statement, Nick Cannon comes out and apologizes, like the chameleon that he is. And, he's trying to, like, save face, and, and he comes out. Now, obviously, it's probably a good thing. Like, he probably talked to, like, some, like, Jewish people and was like, hey, man, here's what was wrong with what you said, And maybe he did some growing in 24 hours, and he immediately got on Twitter and, of course, was very apologetic. What's funny to me about that is, like, he just flipped. Like, it was just like he was all like so certain on his podcast, and then he just flips and, oh, I'm sorry, and it's because he got reprimanded or whatever. And it's a weird thing. I think enough people don't like Nick Cannon that they were just already like, fuck Nick Cannon, and now, like, you're not helping anybody. But Fox News likes Nick Cannon. They came out and addressed, like, oh, well, we don't think anything's wrong with what he said, so whatever. Fox News, I don't even want to draw the line there. I think a child could connect those dots, but I mean, fuck, man. Fox News comes out, supports Nick Cannon and his anti-Semitism, and I don't know. Maybe he has a job. Maybe he could take Tommy Lauren's job or Bill O'Reilly's job. Let him take one of those shows. That would be interesting. Nick Cannon got canceled, and it's been crazy, man. Been crazy. Also, another dude that got canceled, Davi Vanity. I don't know if you guys, I'm sure most of you probably heard about this, but if you haven't, Davi Vanity is a lead singer of a group called Blood on the Dance Floor, and they are a scene like techno rock band. I think I haven't really heard their music, but I'm pretty sure like that's like, you know, where they, and so like a lot of their fan base is young girls, like age 12 to 18, you know, and I think like Dahvie is like the 18-year-olds are like too old for him, you know, so he like literally aims to like put young women into uncomfortable positions. He uses his platform as a means to draw in his victims, and basically he like preys on these girls who, you know, I remember when I was 15 and I had girls that were friends of mine that were also 15, and they would talk about like, oh, I would fuck him and blah, 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 blah. And, you know, while I'm not like, I'm at no, just to clarify, I'm by no means justifying anything that he did. I'm just saying like they were in that mindset. Well, whether they would have or not is a totally different thing, but he's using that power and recognizing that like certain girls feel that way about him, and he's abusing that by inviting them onto his bus or putting them into uncomfortable positions, or like in a lot of cases, I think, and there was like multiple girls, like a lot of girls came out and have been sharing their stories about Davi Vanity being a pedophile and preying on them. In a lot of cases, he like what do they call it? Like procured the girls, or like he like groomed. He was grooming the girls from like day one, like getting them to like talk to him. He makes them feel like he cares about them. Then he like gets nudes, and then when he meets them, you know, there's a whole bunch of other creepy shit, you know. And I think a lot of cases it was like statutory rape. This dude wears more makeup than any of those girls, and you know, and so like he's you know, like got a lot to talk about with them, and you know, obviously they love his music, so you know he's in contact with these preteens, and he's like meeting up with them, and like, you know, and what's crazy is that like all these girls have come out, and I don't see him in handcuffs yet. You know, obviously I don't think the band's touring, or I don't even know if he's a part of the band or if the band's still making music at all, but definitely like when you're in the limelight, it's a big mistake to fucking, you know, be fucking grooming young girls for molestation or statutory rape, either way. What was crazy was that all this shit caught the attention of a man we've all been waiting to hear from, and that is fucking Chris Hanson. You know, take a seat, Chris Hanson, to catch a predator. You know what I'm saying? So he's been on top of it. Chris Hanson been dropping bombs, dropped videos. He interviewed a couple of the victims, and most recently he interviewed a group called Insane Clown Posse. And shout out to my Juggalos out there. Whoop whoop. That shit was fucking funny. I thought it was hilarious. You know, ICP. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know why they were on the show, but I don't know why. Like, I don't know why Chris Hanson invited them, but it was definitely entertaining. Basically, ICP had released a statement. Also, they said, first off, in the interview with Chris Hanson, they expressed how big of fans they are of To Catch a Predator, and like that it's like one of their favorite shows. So, I mean, obviously, when he invited them on, they were stoked, you know, and you know, also anything to get put in the limelight for real, you know, and so like it's pretty funny that, you know, they got invited on, but it's all because like Violent J released a statement like basically sicking Juggalos on Davi Vanity, you know, and he sorry I dropped that, but you know, he basically like he like pretty much told the Juggalos like, you know, like there's a price on this dude's head, you know. And here's what normal society has no concept of. You guys do not know how hard these Juggalos go for ICP. You have no, like, you know, you can think about your favorite band and think about all their super fans, and you wouldn't even be close to the amount of dedication and loyalty that these fucking people have to ICP. Okay? Like, and it's not all of them. It's not like a sheep like mentality, but there are some fucking riders out here, some straight like Juggalo ninja assassins that like just like they're all fueled by whatever Violent J says, and if what he says goes with a lot of them. And I'm telling you that this dude Davi Vanity, his like if he's not in prison, his life is ruined. He ain't gonna be able to perform nowhere. Juggalos will show up and shut this dude down, and I think that's funny, because of how society views Juggalos. It's a great example of like shit that Juggalos don't fucking allow. And I mean, I think, while there are probably some creep ass Juggalos that like do have younger girls as girlfriends or like, whatever, like it's not a widespread thing. Like, I think most things that are taboo in normal culture are also taboo in Juggalo culture, but there's also like they don't like support the war on drugs or whatever. Like there's a certain level of freedom to what they do also, but I think that's what gives them the bad rep. And it's just like, you guys don't realize that Juggalos' morals are more intact than society's morals in a lot of cases. Like people look, I think that like, and that's what I wanted to get to, is just like Juggalos are so misunderstood, and even me, like, I told the story on my homie's podcast, shout out to the Gang Gang podcast, but I told the story on there about, like when my record label I was on at the time, Black Flag Music, we got invited out to the gathering, and, they wanted the Skull Kids, my group, to play. And, I was nervous just because, like we don't make Juggalo music, or at least I thought we didn't, you know what I'm saying, at the time, and I'm like, we've always had like a tinge, it's been dark rap, obviously we're white boys and there's rap. It's a darker tinge to rap music that we do, and so I should have known that it would be digestible, for them, but I just didn't think that we made like Juggalo music. So I was worried. I had heard stories about them like throwing shit at people that they don't like and whatever. So I was like worried when we went to our first gathering. We were offered a slot. We got to perform, which was amazing, and we got there, and it was the complete fucking. I felt like such a fucking asshole. On the inside, I felt like on the inside, I felt myself judging a book by its cover, and then I was wrong, like so wrong, like never been more wrong in my life than I was about Juggalos, dude. And I should have known, like I had friends at home that were Juggalos, and I'm just like, man, these are like, I'm going to be honest with y'all, some of the best people in my life currently are fucking Juggalos, man. Like, not all of them are like ignorant meth heads or something like that. Like none of my Juggalo friends smoke meth, bro. Sorry. But I mean, all of them, like obviously we're all adults now. And so like, they're not like so, into fandom that like it like consumes their living. But I mean, like, yeah, obviously, they've been influenced, and like now that like I've gone to 4 different gatherings, and I'll go to a 5th next year if they have it. I should be at one here at the beginning of next month. I should be going to my 5th, but because of coronavirus, it's not happening, and I'm like legit sad about that. You know what I'm saying? Like I've immersed myself in their culture, and I've like with open eyes and an open heart and open arms, I've like embraced just like the freedom that they allow. That's the beautiful thing, man. Like you don't get judged out there, bro. It doesn't matter like what you look like or what race you are. Like you're big, you're small, dude. Like they will call you beautiful, and you like it's like something. It's like unlike anything I've ever experienced. Seriously, I've never been to another. Like, and I know it's the thing about music festivals. Like, there's a lot of experiences that I've heard of other people going to different music festivals that are similar to my experiences at the gathering. But what I'm telling you is that the Juggalo Nation is a fucking family. And I know they say that and it's like cliche, but there's no better word to define what they got going on. It really isn't. You could not know anybody, and if you get too fucked up and you're on the ground, like they'll pick you up, give you a shirt, and fucking buy you a hot dog or something. They got like, shout out to my people at Scrub Carry Unit. That's a whole coalition of people that I am proud to call my friends that are literally there just to take care of people that don't have while they're at the gathering. They recognize there's people that spent all of their money like they went out of their way and sold possessions and whatever just to get here, and they don't have a sleeping bag, let alone money for food. And these people are cooking hot dogs, and they got waters for people, and like what they do is a great thing. And that's just an example of like the kindness of the Juggalo community. And it's weird because like you hear the music, and I think that's the misconception. It's just like the music's like murderous and it's dark, and they call it horrorcore. But here's the thing: we all like horror movies, don't we? It's a story. We know that Chucky isn't real. We know that Michael Myers isn't real. But we still enjoy watching it. That's all it is, man. It's theater for your ears. Like, once you just stop taking it so seriously and you start looking at it as like entertainment, you're gonna find a way to enjoy it. I promise. And even if you don't, I think it's funny that ICP has been more socially woke than a lot of people in public eye, and like even in the political system. Like they came out, they were like the first one to cancel their festival. They came out and said, all right, we're not doing it because coronavirus, because we care too much. We care more about our fans than we do about the money that we're going to miss from the gathering. And they spend a lot of money putting on the gathering. Like I'd say in some years, they probably broke even or didn't even make money because, they throw it for the people. It's like their thank you to their fans every summer, and it's not always profitable, but I'm sure it is sometimes. And so like they were one of the first people to come out and say, all right, well, we're not going to do that. And now there's going to be, coronavirus. So, we care more about our people than making money off the festival. Sorry, we'll see you next year. Which for me, I was sad about that. And I know a lot of Juggalos were sad about that. But I would, it's true. Like, do you want 5,000 Juggalos? There's like 10 to 14 every summer that come out. So you want 5,000 Juggalos getting sick and dying? No. And you don't want to be the guy behind that festival either. You don't want to be the person throwing that party, during the middle of a pandemic. So they did the right thing there, and now they're coming out and speaking out against pedophilia, and they've put a price on Davi Vanity's head, and I think it is fucking hilarious. Shout out to ICP. Shout out to my Juggalos, man. I know, like I said, they get commonly misunderstood. They get pulled over by police and treated like, and I know it's like a thing, like, all right, well, like back in a few years ago or whatever, the FBI classified Juggalos as a gang, supposedly, and the half Juggalos will disagree with that, and the other half say, no, it happened. But like, what I can tell you is that, like, I know for a fact that the way police profile in order to make arrests include Juggalos. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you got a hatchet man or whatever, like, they're gonna search you, bro. They're gonna search you, and like, it's nice if you don't have anything. I have a hoodie. I was at Whoopstock a couple years ago in Thornville, and it was like hot as hell most of the days. But like one day it rained and the temperature dropped, and then I was cold. All I had was like, summer clothes, because it was, late July. And I went up to the merch booth and I bought a $70 hoodie, and it was a huge hatchet man on the front of it. And people treat you different when you wear this motherfucker. Like, society treats you different when you wear this motherfucker. Like, I'm talking dirty looks and, sir, can I see your receipts? And, like, like when you get pulled over by a cop wearing that, like, the first thing he does is he looks at it and he's like, oh, okay. Why don't you go ahead and step out the vehicle? And they'll illegally search you. It don't matter. And like I said, it's nice whenever you're wearing that motherfucker and you can just smile at the cop when you ain't got shit and he's pillaging through your car. Where's the dope? Where's the dope? And you're like, man, there ain't no dope in there. I don't know what you're talking about, And I think that's funny, but it's definitely a real thing. And yeah, man, Juggalos heavily misunderstood. And I hope they come for Davi Vanity on some level, but anyway, it's been fun. I kicked it with y'all kicked it with me. Thank you for joining me. The Big Buddha podcast will continue. This is my Sunday episode. I'll probably drop another one Wednesday. I don't know, maybe not. Not gonna promise anything, but thank y'all for hanging out. I really appreciate it. It's gonna keep getting better and better, and if you guys could just spread the good news and I don't know, get on a mountaintop and shout about the Big Buddha Podcast. Thanks for hanging out with us. I appreciate the shit out of it. Have a good day.